Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build your own automatic storage system. This is my organic base that I'm creating in a survival world, and I wanted to build a storage system right down here. So I've designed the main room. This is going to be like a pirate cove area, but I wanted to have a fully automatic storage system here. So first off, you're going to need some redstone supplies. I'm talking about hoppers and chests mainly, so I'd recommend you having an already established iron farm on your world, and also possibly a wood farm. There are 3 different types of items that you have to consider when storing your items. First of all, you've got your small item storage. This will be all of those just random things you collect. Like I've got a few examples here: books, oak doors, just those things that only take up a few slots in your chests. For the second one, we got the intermediate item storage. This is for storing things that only take up a double chest or 2 double chests, maybe even 3, such as all your different stone variants. I put iron here if you got a small iron farm. These are just some examples once again, and these can just be sorted out using like a basic item filter. And for the third one, we got the large item storage. This will be for your all your farmable resources. You got your stone, maybe even cobblestone, netherrack, dirt, sand, which will take up many double chests of storage that you might for items that you might use later, for instance gunpowder for TNT, etc. So the end goal with your storage system is to be able to come up to, say, a chest and just dump all of your items that you don't need. Say you've just been building a project, and they'll just be transported into each individual chest and automatically sorting it so you are able to receive it again quickly. So here I've outlined the types of item modules you'll need to create your storage system. Yeah, it does look kind of daunting, but it really is simple. First of all, we'll start with the second one here. This is the basic item filter. Most of you will have recognized this. In my world, I actually used 2 chests on the end, and this works pretty much exactly the same, except an item gets stuck because of this torch, but yeah, really that's no problem. And the way you filter this is just by getting just your item you want filtered over here, and then some named items here. Also, the 3 long redstone signal strength versions are generally the best. I'll show you in a moment, but let's see, because even if I had another module right next to this, it would not get powered here, which is good. So it can only go up to a stack at the time, and if it spills over into this third one, it will not spill over into this fourth one, meaning that no adjacent item filters can get activated by having too many items in this filter here. Because if this were a 2-1 like this one here, if you had a whole stack of these item torches, then this one here would turn on too, and it will cause the item filter to activate, and the whatever is filtered in the next module over will slowly disappear and break your system. So generally, for security's sake, it is better to have a 3-wide one. This one uses a piston, so it's a bit more noisy. I use it in my storage system because I couldn't fit this one in. So generally this will be the standard one you would use, but I couldn't fit that one in, so I had to use this one here. So these are for your intermediate storage systems. They can hold up to 2 or even more double chests of items in them. So this is good for your stones, your andesite, your granite, your dirt, and whatever sort of things you want. People sometimes make them make the mistake of having only intermediate item storage, so only using this item filter here to create a storage system, which is a terrible idea because there are so many different items in the game and you have to filter out each and every single one of them. So if you want to filter out concrete, then you'll need, for instance, you need orange concrete, magenta, light blue, yellow. You'll need a separate item filter for each one, which is gonna be massive, let me tell you. So luckily we have a solution for that, and let's come over here to small item storage. This here is Tangotek's design. It uses a design trick where you fill everything up, and then the item you want filtered, you just put it in like that. Or torch, you want torches, let's say, and maybe some comparators. Let's say this is your redstone chest, and so if I put redstone dust, it will be put into this slot here, torches and comparators, that sort of thing. For our large item storage, we come back to over to this side to what is called the ilmango Shulker Box Loader, and this thing, it packs shulker boxes. And let's see, no, I don't have any demos at the moment, but it packs shulker boxes and it breaks them and puts them into this chest. So this is good for very large storage. So I got this one sorting out redstone comparators, and this thing is full. I've packed all of these boxes so that they're almost full, and so when this one hits 23 or 24, I think it is, then it will break this shulker box and put it into the chest and load up a new one to be filled. So up here, this is the item filter that ilmango used on his design, because he couldn't fit this one in it, which is the only reason I think he would use this one. And it's fine. You can also, if you can't fit this in, you can put this design in it too. I did that one time. It worked completely fine. It was all good in the hood. So I'm just gonna input my items into here. So it's comparators. So let's just put a few in, and they'll just be filtered. As you can see, filtering right now. And yeah, one just broke, and it pushed it into here. And now this one's being filled up. You can see that. So almost full, and then it just breaks it. So it's a very nice design, very nice system, and this way you can store heaps and heaps of items. If you got heaps and heaps of shulker boxes too, though, because this uses a lot of shulker boxes. Modification, well, that I once used for this design is if I can get some stairs. I forgot to include this earlier. So this is the one that loads up the shulker boxes, and what you can do is to see whether you're running out or not is to get a comparator output, if I can find comparators, into a redstone lamp. So that this thing will power, well, it just happened, but this thing will turn off once there's no more shulker boxes in there. So let's say that this dispenses a shulker box. So there's something in there. Just a nice little upgrade in there. And feel free to put more hoppers in it if you want it flush with the redstone lamp, that sort of thing. So now we get on to the automatic item droppers. These are important circuits which you'll use in your storage system. They're pretty much compulsory. So I got a few designs here. This one is the fastest. So if you're looking for speed, this is the one you go for. I'll just show you. So quite fast. And then we get onto these. These are not Not my favorite. I tend to not use them, but hey, you can if you want, or if you need to for whatever reason. This one here, this is another basic one. This one can actually push up items through 2 droppers, which can be quite handy if you just need to elevate an item by a few blocks. So it's just a comparator redstone, then there's redstone dust here, and going into a clock. This does not need to be on subtract mode, whereas for these ones they do. And then this one here, we have, this one can shoot up 3 blocks if you need to. So this one, I'll just show you. You can shoot up 2 blocks, so you can have a chest on top of here if you need to, or for whatever reason. And it's, or you can just use it as a normal item dropper and have your water elevator coming up here, for instance. And then this one is, yeah, this one can do 3. So this is something I created. I was just like doing stuff, and then I managed to accidentally make this. So it's pretty much this one, but it directly powers this metal dropper, so it powers all 3 at once, so that you can get quite fast item travel. So it goes all the way up, and it just powers all 3, so all 3 of them go pop, pop. So it's quite fast when you think about it. So this is my design for a large item storage. This one doesn't use shulker boxes, which is good. And so we just got a normal item filter here, and there would be a water stream coming along here that just pushes it into the hopper here. And then obviously, as you can see, it just worms its way down into this one. So the great thing about these ones is they're a bit more accessible than the Shulker Box versions. With the Shulker Box version, you need to take out the Shulker Box, place it down, pick out the items, and then break it and put it back in again. This one you can just grab whatever you want, whenever you want, and it's easily accessible. And then I just got some basic indicator lamps just showing how full it is. So here we have a little mock-up of how the different modules might interact with each other. So for instance, here we got our item dispenser. It's being fed by this input chest right here. And then here we got all, this is intermediate storage. As you can see, there's a double chest for each item filter, which are being filtered, which are filtering different items here, as you can see. And it's all being dispersed by water. So I recommend using water to disperse your items and move them around your base, as hoppers can be quite expensive. And all you need to do in order to use them with your item filters is to have a block, quite often a chest, that's less than 1 block. As you can see, there's a pixel here, and what will happen is a chest will run up alongside this the hitbox of this chest, and it will be 1 pixel over, but it will still get the effect of the water pushing it. So, and it can be also detected by these hoppers, so the hoppers will still pick it up even though it's being pushed along by the water, which is a very clever solution to the problem. And also just ice to make sure that it won't stop on the block here, and it's signed to break it up and start a new one, for instance. Pretty simple. And I would also recommend at the very end of your storage system also to include a outflow chest. So this is just where if you've forgotten to filter out something, for instance, then everything that doesn't end up at the end gets put into a chest right here. So let's test it out. For instance, let's filter out chests. They get dispensed out by this dispenser, gets pushed along, as you can see, they're right alongside it, and gets picked up by this item filter here. Now if your items are being pushed out too fast and start filling up your item filter too fast, you can change the speed of your item dispenser right here. So I've completed my storage system now. I'm quite proud of it. And as you can see, I've got heaps of cats around here. They're really good guard dogs for creepers, except the cats. Anyway, here is my input chest, so I can dump all of my things here, and I'll get inputted into the corresponding item filters. You can change this to be a shulker box if you want, it doesn't really matter. So here I got my Tangotek item filters. So this is my small item storage, as you can see, sorting out a whole bunch of different things. And then we go into the intermediate storage, so this is all the things that I think I might get a reasonable amount of. So I'm sorting out all of my mining materials here. So if you've just gone mining and you don't want it to lag out your system by your computer by using these filters, you can also input them into here, and it'll be directly starting here and get pushed along the water streams. Oh, this is interesting. Here I put a what's it called, a non-stackable item filter that will filter out all of my non-stackable items. I think this is quite handy, or you can just, so it's all in one place, or you can just leave it and it'll end up in your output chest, which I placed right here at the very end of my sorting system, as you can see here. And so one thing you should know is that it goes around, so the input gets inputted here, goes all the way around my sorting system and ends up in this output hopper chest if nothing can be sorted into it. So as for my farmed resources, they're actually coming up from here roundabouts. They're getting pushed into the water stream and then coming along into all of my farmed resource areas. So I have them skipping all of these first chests because none of them are farmable resources, and it saves on a bit of lag, so it always gets sorted out into these ones. So these ones here are shulker box loaders, as you can see, and they get checked through various item filters and then come along here. And then, so this is all for my mob farm, and then they go through another set of Tangotek storage system. So I got all my workbenches situated here in the center, which is handy, and also must have is also a trash can. So you just set up an auto dispenser dispensing into lava. Quite simple to make. So the main idea here is to be efficient. So I got everything within like a few seconds walking distance. So everything here is accessible. The thing about storage systems is that they shouldn't be too big. So they should all be within, like, quite close within each other. So you're able to switch between them quite quickly. It's no good having a very long storage system where you have to, you know, fly to get to your next chest that you need, blah blah blah. It's not very fun. One thing I did in a previous storage system is actually have an input, probably it would be in the corner of the room, with an input for, what was it, coal and resources you need to smelt, and then that would go into a smelter furnace array down underneath my storage system. So underneath here, for instance, that would smelt all of my resources and then be dispensed back into the middle, the center console, which is another idea for if you want to make it even more efficient. Another thing I would recommend would be to put your filter items, so in this case it's stone named filter, in the first chest that your storage system goes into, so that if there are any filter blocks accidentally inputted into the system, it won't break any of your item filters, and it's just a safeguard. So it's a thing I'd recommend.